Hi, I'm Rebecca at the Dry Eye Foundation. Today I'm here to talk about some basic differences between contacts and sclerals, because contacts and sclerals are as different as Latin and Greek. And I mean that literally. Contact derives from Latin contactus, meaning to touch or contact. Contact lenses are lenses that touch your eyes a lot. Scleral comes from the Greek word scleral, which means stiff or hard. And in this case, it's short for the scleros hitonas, which is the white of the eye. And in English, we shorten that to sclera. The first and most obvious difference between contacts and sclerals is spelling and pronunciation. Scleral has got to be one of the most misspelled words in the English language, and if you trip over it every time you try to say it, you are not alone. Next, contacts come in three main flavors: soft, hard, hybrid. You all know about soft lenses. Hard lenses are called RGPs, short for rigid gas permeable lenses, which are the modern successors to the old PMMA lenses my dad wore for decades. Hybrid lenses try to give you the best of both worlds between soft and hard. Scleral lenses, on the other hand, are hard by definition. They're made of the same exact kind of material as conventional RGPs are, but they're very different in every other way, like size and shape and function. A key difference between contacts in general and sclerals is where they sit in relation to the cornea. Now, I think anybody watching this video knows what a cornea is, but just to keep all my bases covered, the cornea is the clear front surface of the eye, and whatever it is that's wrong with your cornea is presumably the reason that you're interested in sclerals. Now, contacts, whether they're soft or hard or hybrid, they have lots of contact with the cornea. If it's a soft lens, it just kind of drapes over the cornea. If it's a hard lens, it basically floats on your cornea with the help of your tears. If it's a hybrid lens, I don't have a special word for it, but it's still 100% sitting right there on your cornea. Sclerals, on the other hand, do not ever touch your cornea, or even what's called the limbus, which is a sort of transition zone between your cornea and the white of your eye. Instead, the scleral vaults over the cornea, leaving a space for liquid, and the edges of the scleral, the outer edges, come to rest on your sclera, the white of your eye. If a scleral is touching your cornea or your limbus, you've got a problem. Now, for some people with dry eye, their first reaction to the idea of sclerals is, no way, I can't wear contacts. And when they hear a little more, their second reaction might be, oh, I definitely can't wear hard contacts. But what they don't realize is that people associate contacts with discomfort because contacts touch their corneas, and the cornea is the sensitive part. Sclerals just don't do that. They don't touch the cornea. If a scleral is going to cause discomfort, because that's certainly possible, it's going to do it in a different way and for a different reason than contacts do. Now we're going to talk about contacts versus sclerals in terms of the liquid underneath them. When you put a contact on your eye, it's making kind of a liquid-filled sandwich temporarily. You've got a lens on top of a little bit of contact lens solution plus your tears on top of your eye. But the lens doesn't seal to your eye, so that little tiny bit of liquid is on the move to some extent. The liquid under the lens gets replaced over and over by the liquid in the rest of your eye. And how fast that happens depends on the lens type and whether your eyes are dry. For an RGP, this process is pretty quick, like 5 minutes. For soft lenses, it's quite a bit slower, but it's still happening many times a day. For a scleral, the picture is very different. The whole purpose of a scleral is to hold liquid against the cornea. You fill the scleral up like a bowl, you put it on, and the liquid stays put. If it all leaks out or gets bubbles, it won't work. So it's designed to keep the liquid there. The scleral is not supersuction to your eye, at least it better not be. So there's going to be a little seepage, a little fluid exchange we call it, but it's a very, very, very slow process. And this is why what you put in the scleral is so important, that same liquid is sitting on your cornea hour after hour. That's why that topic gets talked about a lot on our site and in the Facebook groups and everywhere. Now I want to talk about contacts and sclerals as medical devices. All contacts are medical devices by law. You can't legally purchase them without a doctor's prescription. But a very large portion of the contact lens wearing population of today treats contacts pretty casually in terms of how they take care of them and even where they buy them. In fact, in modern contact lens culture, if I can call it that, only a fraction of contact lens users are compliant with basic contact lens hygiene, like wash your hands first and clean your lenses and change the solution that you disinfect them in. Scleral users, by and large, do not treat sclerals the way contact lens users treat contacts. One of the reasons for that is that, functionally speaking, sclerals are really different from contacts. We get them for different reasons. It's more appropriate to think about sclerals as prosthetics than to think about them as fancy, expensive contacts. So let's talk about that functional role of contact versus scleral. Contacts, by and large, are the alternative to glasses. Sometimes contacts can be used for other purposes, like therapeutic bandaged soft lenses, but the vast majority of contact lenses in use today are sold solely to do the job that glasses would otherwise be doing. Sclerals, on the other hand, play some complicated medical roles for us, from vision restoration to disease treatment to environmental protection for our eyes to pain relief. The key function that contacts and sclerals share is that they're both optical products, meaning they're equipped and designed to change your refraction, or how light enters your eye and changes how your eye focuses. With sclerals, you may or may not be getting sclerals for vision reasons, but they will have some amount of vision correction in them, however small. Contacts are just optical products without any ulterior motive, so to speak. Sclerals are optical products plus plus. My first plus is that in most cases they can provide more vision correction than any other lens type, both in terms of accommodating super high prescriptions and in terms of irregularities that soft lenses can't correct for. My second plus is they can do all those other jobs I mentioned a slide or so ago, the protection and moisture and pain relief. So naturally, getting contacts is going to be both much easier and much more predictable than getting sclerals. With contacts, you go to an optometrist, you have an exam, you get a script, you go back for contact lens follow-ups, hopefully, and eye health checks as directed. You can buy your contacts from the optometry practice, which is generally the smart thing to do, or you can buy them somewhere else, hopefully not some cut-rate internet store selling counterfeits. Sclerals are a different animal. They're a very different kind of medical process. They require specialist care, first and foremost. That's key. And no matter who you're seeing, this is not a single appointment process. And however long it does or doesn't take, you do not walk away with a prescription. Sclerals have much more process than product compared to contacts. Now, knowing all these things, it should come as no surprise at all that contacts are cheap and sclerals are expensive. How expensive? Well, there's a huge range, but basically we're looking at the difference between hundreds versus thousands of dollars, and in some cases potentially 5 figures. For many of us, getting insurance coverage for sclerals may be significantly more complicated than just having a vision plan of some kind. Then there's the practical side. Contacts are easy peasy. Put them in with your fingers, take them out again, throw them away. If they're not dailies, put them in, take them out, rinse them off, put them to soak, rinse them again, put them in again. And this is an important one. If you run out of contact lens solution, it's like milk. You drive down the street and you buy some more. Sclerals are a different kind of animal. Sclerals are complicated to get, as we talked about. Sclerals are complicated to learn to put them in and take them out, and most people use special tools to do so. And some people have to go through extensive training to get used to this process. Sclerals are complicated to take care of, in part because none of the solutions or supplies are sold in your local drugstore. If you are a habitual hoarder, you'll do great with Sclerals. But if you are not the planner-aheader type of person, you might end up becoming one after you start using Sclerals, especially after the first time you run out of a preservative-free saline at a critical moment, or if you get on a plane and suddenly realize you don't have a plunger with you. By now, you may have said to yourself once or twice, gosh, Rebecca's not a very good salesperson for these Sclerals. She's telling me, did this totally different thing. I got to get a specialist. They're really expensive. They're really complicated. They sound intimidating. I love Sclerals. I've worn scleral lenses for almost 20 years. I've been an advocate for Sclerals in the corneal disease community for that long as well. And I believe for the right patient, in the hands of the right provider and at the right time, Sclerals have tremendous potential to improve quality of life. But it's not my job to sell you on the idea. Instead, I'm here on behalf of the Dry Eye Foundation to help people understand the scleral lens paradigm, to fill in some information gaps, and to spotlight possible incorrect assumptions people sometimes make about Sclerals. So to wrap it up here, I just want to encourage you once again to think about Sclerals as prosthetics rather than contacts. I hope you enjoy our website. Don't hesitate to reach out to the Dry Eye Foundation if we can help. Bye for now.